Splitgate Arena Warfare is an arena shooter that originally launched back in May of 2019. While it saw some initial success hitting peak concurrent players of about 11,000, it quickly cooled off and it was pretty much irrelevant, and it was into the low triple digits within probably a month or two. This was a bummer to me as I thought the game was pretty fun, but we saw something unique here where rather than just completely abandon the game, 1047 Games, a small indie developer, continued to work on the game with additional updates and additional quality of life improvements. And while the numbers were never very good, they stayed pretty consistent over time, even going up occasionally around updates. But now Splitgate has a prime opportunity to kind of be revitalized, and that is because it's coming out on console and it's crossplay. So just the other day, the open beta started for crossplay with consoles, both on Xbox and PlayStation, and we've already not only seen a bump in player base because of the console players, but also even the Steam player base has gotten above 1,500 peak concurrent players, which is the most players that Splitgate has had since basically it launched. But enough kind of about the background of the game. Let's just hop in and play some Splitgate. All right, so here is Splitgate in 2021. So before we hop into a game, I thought we'd just kind of look at the UI a little bit, because honestly, it's changed a ton since I last played. They have the battle pass now, which they did have last time I played. I just had the free battle pass because I haven't bought anything. You have a whole bunch of challenges you can do. There's this revamped locker where you can look at all your skins and all your different armors and your sprays and your nameplates. And there's the career tab where you can look at like all sorts of cool stats, which some of this stuff was in the game before. The stats even break down to casual and ranked, which is pretty cool. I haven't played any ranked since the revamp. There's a whole section of training, which is awesome if you're trying to get into Splitgate, but you're a newer player. And then there's the item shop where, similar to kind of Fortnite or anything, you know, there's all sorts of fun goodies that you can buy, and you can even get split coin. So with that out of the way, we can hop into a game. As you can see, ranked is still coming soon because right now we're still in the beta. But if you go to casual, now Splitgate has a match composer, which you'd be familiar with if you've played other games like the recent Call of Duties or even Halo the Master Chief Collection. So you can kind of pick here and select which game modes exactly you want to play. Unfortunately, you have to be level 10 to play some of the other stuff, which I'm not level 10 yet. So we're just going to play these and we'll hop into a game. All right, so we got a game of SWAT here on Pantheon. This is one of the OG maps. This map's been in the game since it started, and I've always thought it was pretty Sanctuary inspired if you've played Halo before, but I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. But yeah, so this is Splitgate. I mean, the core gameplay is still the same as it's always been. They've done a lot of quality of life upgrades, I would say, especially on the UI and kind of the stuff outside the game. I think that's where a lot of the improvements are. But they did do kind of a little graphics overhaul at one point. I know it looks a little bit different. I'd have to look at the pictures kind of side by side to get the full gist of it, but I do remember at one point I saw some stuff for that. But yeah, I'm just excited to see Splitgate back. Not necessarily like back in terms of being some huge popular game, but it's on my feed again, so that's pretty sweet. I see people talking about it, which I haven't seen people talk about Splitgate in quite some time, and I think the console release is going to be really good for this game, because that was one of the things that I would occasionally get on some of my older videos. People would comment saying like, oh, when's Splitgate coming to console and everything, and I never knew. It would seem like it was never coming because it took so long, but it's finally here, which is awesome. I will say too, one thing that's cool about it is sometimes I feel like indie games kind of have like what I would consider like a cynical release to console, where the game's not really being actively developed anymore, but they toss it onto console to get that last bit of cash before they abandon the game. That is not what's going on with Splitgate. 1047 has been actively developing this game this whole time. They have their big release later this month, because this is obviously just the beta, as you can see from the bottom of the screen. Once that big release hits, they're coming out with more skins, more armors, more maps, and there's even more maps in the game now and game modes than when the game launched back in 2019. There's all sorts of new stuff. So if you are a returning player that hasn't played since 2019, there is a slew of new content, and there's only going to be more, because 1047, the developer, has been growing and hiring on more developers to add on to their team. So I think, assuming the console release goes well, there's crossplay, which is amazing. That's really going to help the PC player base, which hasn't been fantastic, but like I said, had been pretty consistent. But now hopefully you're going to get a lot more real players in your games instead of bots, and I think Splitgate could be in a pretty healthy place. I mean, I don't foresee it being the biggest free-to-play game on Steam or anything like that, but I think it could kind of carve out its own little niche like it kind of deserves, if we're being honest. I mean, Splitgate is a cool arena shooter, and it deserves its own little fan base, I would say. I think one thing that's been a huge problem for Splitgate is it's constantly fighting the fact that it was so heavily, not necessarily marketed from 1047, but so heavily marketed in terms of the early press coverage as this Halo meets Portal game. And yes, it has Halo inspiration. Like I said, this map kind of seems like it's Sanctuary, and a lot of the guns are pretty Halo. Like you have the battle rifle and the carbine, which is like a DMR, and we're playing Team SWAT right now. Like a lot of that stuff is pretty Halo inspired, but the gameplay itself feels a lot more like just its own arena shooter. Like Splitgate's just its own thing. The time to kill is a lot different than Halo. It's a lot quicker, and the portals completely change up the gameplay. So it really plays nothing like a Halo game other than having some of those weapons and game modes that you might be familiar with. So I think that's like an important thing to realize when you're playing Splitgate, and I feel that that wasn't necessarily portrayed very well at the start, and so a lot of people downloaded it expecting this Halo experience, and then, you know, instead they got Splitgate, which is its own thing. That on top of the fact that some of the early fixes, optimization, and that stuff wasn't as quick necessarily as maybe it could have been, and I think that might have led a little bit to some of the player decline, and the fact that the game never really had like a full marketing push. It had a lot of word of mouth. There was a lot of Twitch streamers that were playing it. There's Twitch Rivals early on where a bunch of streamers who didn't really know what they were doing were playing it. Besides that, there was never really a big marketing push. But now that it's on console, I think they have the opportunity to have a full marketing push per se. But I've been having a lot of fun. I was streaming some Splitgate the other night, and the Splitgate community is super welcoming and super helpful to newcomers. So it's not a case where people are really off-putting or anything like that. And sure, people who've been playing Splitgate this whole time are really cracked at it, but there's tons of new players coming in right now, tons of new console players, tons of new PC players if you looked at those Steam charts at the start of the video. So this is a good time to hop into Splitgate if you want to try and learn it a little bit. All right, this time we got a VIP game on Abyss. VIP works similar to CSGO if you've played VIP, where you get points for killing the enemy VIP and you kind of want to protect your VIP. The big change though in Splitgate is the VIP on each team cannot TP, which is actually a pretty big change up. This map, if you haven't seen this one before, was added post-launch. I want to say it was added in the Season 1 update, which was a while ago now, so it's been in the game for a while. But if you only ever played this game at launch, this is a new map for you, and it's a pretty cool map. I like it. It has the gravity hammer weapon, which is the BFB in this game. You know, I'm sure you could figure out what that means, but it basically just works like a gravity hammer from Halo, except if you're good with the portals, you can pretty much get anywhere you want to kill people. So it is a lot of fun. We are going for it. Oh, okay. So the VIP has 200% health. And I guess the bat only does 150, so I just got fucking shit on. I've been playing this a little bit since it came into open beta, and I played a bit last night on stream, and it's been a lot of fun. I think I'll be playing it a bit more in the near future, and I'm hoping that Splitgate's able to hold its player base a little bit more this time, because it deserves it. It's a well-made game, and compared to some of the jank that has player bases and people waste money on, Splitgate's actually a pretty well-polished game compared to a lot of the stuff that people play. And so it was always a bummer to me how little kind of recognition it got. Everyone would say like, oh yeah, Splitgate was good, but the player base never reflected that. But now it's their opportunity. So hopefully 1047 takes it and they run with that, and we see what they can do. I'm gonna die. No. If you haven't played since the launch, you'll notice I'm using a new gun called the carbine. They kind of revamped the starting weapons. No longer is the pistol a starting weapon per se. They kind of made it shoot faster and do less damage, so it's more of just a sidearm. And they replaced it with this carbine, which is kind of similar to your Halo DMR, just as a reference point. So you spawn with this now in most game modes, and then an assault rifle. I haven't been able to play ranked since this beta opened, but I'm gonna assume in ranked you probably just spawn with the carbine, because you used to just spawn with the pistol, but I don't know for sure. I like how when you shoot someone, I think this is new, but it gives you a little damage number next to him, kind of like you're playing an RPG. Oh my god, he's got to be so low. There we go, we got him. So the grenades in this game, if you haven't played it before, are purely for popping the portals. They don't do any damage. I used to really think that they should do damage, but the more I talked to people the other night when I was streaming from the community that play this game a lot, I kind of understand why they don't, because it would be really weird if you could just yeet grenades through the portal basically to anyone you wanted. I guess they could have made it so they don't go through the portal to balance that, but I think that might be kind of awkward. So I still think I'd like to maybe see grenades that do damage, but I kind of understand why they don't. This game, as far as I'm aware, if you have a weaker PC, seems to run pretty well. I've never had issues on it, but I do have a 1070, so I don't know, keep that in mind. It is an Unreal Engine game, but I think it's pretty decent optimized, and we won. Let's go. The end screen here is very Overwatch-esque, if you played that much, where you have the little, like, you got bronze kills or gold accuracy. I can't believe I got gold accuracy. I felt like I wasn't hitting shit. Alright, so last game here, we got Oasis Team Shoddy Snipes. Oasis was another map that was added post-launch, so as you can see, I think there's 4 or 5 maps in the game currently that were added post-launch, and there's only more to come, which is really cool, because I mean, the fact that a game like this continues to add new maps is awesome, because sometimes you don't see that kind of stuff from a smaller indie game. This map isn't my favorite. It's kind of big, but I know some people like it, so I know, it is what it is. I think it probably just has its fans. Oh my lordy. I put the portals on my mouse buttons the other day, and I feel like that's been helping a little bit, but I'm still really slow at it. I think one of the biggest learning curves with Splitgate is not only learning when to portal, but also knowing like the good portal spots in every map, because every map has like really good spots to portal that'll help you like completely take map control really quickly, and I don't know most of those. I feel like when you know that kind of stuff in this game, you can just dominate lobbies. I've never been a huge fan of the sniper scope in this game. I've never been able to pinpoint why. It almost feels like it's still just like scopes in a little bit too much for me, or maybe I'm just bad, I don't know. But it's always felt odd to me. That man not only let me come through the portal on him, but I didn't kill him. Okay, I'm still alive. We're still living. See, that's another thing too, is like when I look through portals, I get really turned around, where I'm sure if you've played a lot of this game, you kind of know what you're looking at, even if you're looking through a portal. Oh, I hit him in the toe. Killing people through their own portals is so satisfying. I love doing it. Oh, unfortunately, if you tunnel too hard on that, then you just get shit on through the portal, so not my best decision. Yo, just somebody just delete my game off my computer, please. And we give up the last kill, so go me. Anyways, that's gonna do it for the video. If you guys want to check out Splitgate, it's currently in open beta and free to play on both Steam and on consoles, so go ahead and check it out for yourself. If you guys want to catch me live, I'll probably be streaming Splitgate occasionally, but I mostly stream Halo. Follow me over on my Twitch, where I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram, and with that said, I'll see you all next time.